My name is Michael, and I've always been a skeptic when it came to tales of the supernatural. But one weekend, I decided to venture into the remote wilderness of the Navajo Nation to escape the chaos of the city and test the boundaries of my disbelief. The night was unusually dark, with thick clouds veiling the moon and stars. I had set up my small tent in a secluded clearing, surrounded by towering pine trees. The forest was alive with the eerie calls of night owls, and my campfire crackled, casting ominous shadows. Wrapped in my warmest jacket, I sipped hot cocoa, feeling a sense of solitude and security. As the night grew colder, I began to hear strange, distant chants carried by the wind. The voices grew closer and more unsettling. I couldn't make out the words, but the rhythmic, haunting tone sent shivers down my spine. Against my better judgment, I decided to investigate the source of the eerie sounds. Armed with a flashlight, I ventured deeper into the forest, following the ghostly chants. The trees closed in around me, creating a maze of darkness. A sense of dread and vulnerability washed over me like a tide. After what felt like an eternity, I stumbled upon a small clearing bathed in a sickly, greenish light. At the center of the clearing, I saw a group of shadowy figures, swaying in unison. Their dark, tattered clothing seemed to meld with the night. They were skinwalkers, and they had stopped chanting, now staring directly at me. The lead skinwalker, distinguishable by a tattered headdress and a necklace of animal bones, stepped forward. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural, malevolent light. The others began to circle around me, moving closer with each step, their chant evolving into an eerie, otherworldly melody. Paralyzed with fear, I felt my heart racing as the skinwalker's shadows danced around me. These creatures were known for their mastery of dark magic and the ability to take on the forms of animals, and I knew they had evil intentions. The lead skinwalker raised its hand, and suddenly, I couldn't move. I was completely trapped in place, my voice stolen by an unseen force. As the lead skinwalker came even closer, its form shifted, taking on the shape of a wolf with glowing, red eyes. It snarled and lunged at me, its jaws inches from my throat. In my final moments, I closed my eyes, bracing for the inevitable win. Suddenly, the forest erupted in a deafening roar. From the darkness, a powerful figure, half man and half beast, emerged. It was a guardian spirit of the Navajo people, sent to protect those threatened by the malevolent skinwalkers. The guardian spirit clashed with the lead skinwalker, and a battle of ancient magic and primal fury ensued. The forest trembled as the two powerful entities clashed, and I felt my paralysis lift. I crawled away, watching in awe and terror as the guardian spirit finally defeated the skinwalker. With a final, bone-chilling howl, the skinwalker's form shattered into dark smoke and vanished. The guardian spirit turned toward me, its eyes filled with an otherworldly wisdom. It nodded once and then disappeared into the night. I returned to my campsite, shaken and grateful for my unexpected savior. I packed my belongings and left the forest that very night, no longer a skeptic of the chilling legends I had heard. This encounter had left me with a deep respect for the mystical and terrifying power of the skinwalkers and their eternal battle against the guardians of the Navajo Nation. I had just closed my eyes when I heard a strange noise from downstairs. At first, I dismissed it as a creaky floorboard or the wind rattling the windows, but the noise persisted. An eerie, unidentifiable chant began to seep through the walls, as if carried by a spectral wind. My curiosity overcame my unease, and I cautiously made my way downstairs, clutching a baseball bat for reassurance. As I descended the staircase, the chanting grew louder, its eerie melody sending shivers down my spine. It was unmistakable. I was not alone in my own home. At the bottom of the stairs, I found the source of the sound. In the dim glow of the moonlight, I saw a tall, shadowy figure standing in the living room. Its form was obscured, but I could make out a tattered cloak and a necklace of animal bones. The intruder was a skinwalker, and my heart pounded with fear and disbelief. The skinwalker turned toward me, its eyes glowing with an unnatural, malevolent light. The chant intensified, filling the room with an otherworldly presence. I tried to scream, but no sound emerged. Paralyzed, I could only watch in terror as the creature slowly approached. As it drew nearer, the skinwalker's form shifted and twisted, becoming something other than human. It transformed into a nightmarish, grotesque version of a coyote, all fangs and fury. It lunged at me, and my instincts took over. I swung the baseball bat with all my strength, connecting with the creature's head. It yelped in pain and staggered back. With the skinwalker momentarily stunned, I sprinted for the front door. The night air was cold, but I ran through the darkness, my heart pounding in my chest. The chanting and the malevolent presence still filled the air, but I didn't look back. I sought refuge in a neighbor's house, and together, we called the authorities. When the police arrived and searched my home, the intruder was gone, leaving behind only the lingering sense of dread. From that night forward, I was haunted by the memory of the skinwalker's intrusion into my home. It was a chilling reminder that no place is truly safe, and that the legends of the skinwalkers held a dark truth that I could no longer deny. Max had been with me for years, a faithful German shepherd with an unwavering loyalty that made him the perfect companion for my solitary life. He was my protector, my confidant, and my source of comfort during long, lonely nights. One evening, as I sat by the fireplace in my cozy cabin in the woods, a strange unease settled upon me. The wind howled outside, and the night was heavy with an unnatural silence. Max, who was usually by my side, was missing, and a feeling of dread washed over me. I called out for him, but there was no response. Worried, I grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the forest surrounding my cabin. As I walked deeper into the woods, I heard the sound of an eerie, haunting chant, unlike anything I'd ever heard before. The wind carried the melody through the trees, growing louder and more unsettling. Following the sound, I came upon a small clearing bathed in a pale, otherworldly light. At the center of the clearing, I saw a large, shadowy figure, seemingly engrossed in the strange, haunting chant. It was Max, or at least, it looked like him. He was the source of the eerie melody, and my heart pounded in confusion and fear. I called Max's name, and he turned toward me, his eyes glowing with an unnatural, malevolent light. The chant intensified, and I was frozen in place, unable to move or look away. It was then that I realized something was terribly wrong with my beloved dog. As I watched in horror, Max's form began to shift and contort. He transformed into a grotesque, nightmarish version of a coyote, his body twisting and elongating. The creature that had been my loyal companion was now a malevolent skinwalker, and it had taken the form of my dog. The skinwalker, still in Max's form, approached me with a malevolent snarl. I couldn't move, trapped in a paralyzing grip of fear. It lunged at me, and I closed my eyes, bracing for the worst, when suddenly, a powerful force erupted from the forest. A guardian spirit of the Navajo people appeared, a figure part human and part beast, and it clashed with the skinwalker in the form of Max. The battle that ensued was a spectacle of ancient magic and primal power. The ground trembled as the two mighty beings fought, and my paralysis lifted. I ran back to my cabin, not daring to look back. The forest echoed with bone-chilling howls and haunting chants. The next morning, I returned to the clearing, and Max, my loyal dog, was nowhere to be found. I was left with the eerie knowledge that my faithful companion had been replaced by a malevolent skinwalker, and the guardian spirit of the Navajo people had saved me from the ominous fate that had almost befallen me. The forest would never be the same, and the enigmatic encounter with the shape-shifting skinwalker that once wore the face of my dog would forever haunt my memories.